Yes. Yeah. So welcome to this session. In the past 2 years of the pandemic, this is such a hot topic, working from home, working from office, hybrid, what works. So I think it's a very topical topic. Fireside chat of what works, office, home, or hybrid, between Mr. Balaji Pasumarthy, founder Golden Square, executive director of BNI Bangalore, and founder of Liberated Enterprise Creators. But before I introduce the moderator, I must also inform our audience that we are today hosting this show from Golden Square, Bangalore, and we would like to thank Golden Square offices for that. Thank you, Balaji, and your team. The moderator today is Mr. Manoj Telakat, who's the CEO of Flex I Partners, and who also is a part of the School of Public Speaking, a proud BNI member, as he says. So it is over to you now, and I shall come in about 7 minutes before end time, 2 minutes for you to wind up, wrap up, and 5 minutes for me to wrap up. So over to you.
Sure. Okay. Thanks, Sandhya.
Thank you so much, Sandhya. Good evening, Balaji. Good to see you here and good to see you in Golden Square. And it's great to see that Golden Square is part of such a big initiative as well. So thanks for this. When we were talking about this and we was looking at this topic itself, I was wondering, would we have had this discussion maybe 2 years back? Would we talk about office, home, hybrid, all of them in the same sentence? Balaji, what do you think?
I guess all these are new words we have learned, isn't it, Manoj? Over the last 1.5 years or so. But interestingly, since you asked where these topics being discussed earlier, so interestingly, we had done a study of what would be the best way of working. And there was a Harvard business study done quite a few years back, where they studied what is the most productive way of working. Was it working from home? Was it working in a closed environment in the office? Or is it working in together in terms of, open offices where people could see each other and so on. And what they found was the most productive way of working was working from home, but maybe twice a week, coming together as a team and working as a team. And it was interesting. This study happened long before COVID, and that was the most productive way of working. And the reasoning was that if you are working in an office where colleagues are there and they're doing their work and so on, and you need to work on something very, very important, you need to focus on your work, right? Then all the other noise, etc., is distracting to you, right? And your productivity actually comes down.
Okay.
So in fact, a lot of call centers, if you notice, people go to, and they're all open cubicles, right? People actually wear earphones while working so that they don't get distracted by other people's talking and so on. So actually it is counter productive for certain tasks when people are around you. And that is where possibly you need quiet time. You can work from home, no disturbance, or in an environment where there is no disturbance for those kind of tasks. But there are so many other things that we need to work, collaboration, where we need to chat up with people and so on. Then you need to be with others. That's why a mix is.
I was coming to that, Balaji. So
yeah,
you've been in this business for almost 26 years. You've seen the whole concept of offices evolve over these periods. So let me start with the first thing. I mean, when we are talking about office, so why do you think people need to go to office? And I'm not just talking about today. Even from the earlier days when I remember my earlier organization, if you don't get up at 8 o'clock, I mean, if you don't start at 8 o'clock to your office, you feel a little let down. You're not in office at 9 o'clock. You feel a little lost. So what could be those reasons? I mean, why should somebody go to an office?
I think at one reason is, okay, I think the main reason is because you need to collaborate with people, right? You need to interact with people. You need to meet people. You need to do some tasks along with people. You need to learn from each other. You need to share information and so on. I think That's the one key reason why you need to go to an office. I think there is another reason a lot of people tell us that, you need a different environment, because if you're at home, possibly you're in that a different zone in your mind, and you need to kind of shift to a different area zone so that your mood changes and you kind of more focus on work. Maybe that's the second reason why you need to go to an office.
Okay.
But I think primarily it's that, first reason that you need to interact with people.
Okay. So it's more in terms of the socializing and then the collaborations part of it that the office helps.
Yes.
I always work from office, and all my career spanning almost 20, 23 years plus, I've always worked from office till COVID hit. And March 16th, we were in office. 17th, we were in office. 17th evening, March 17th evening, we shut down office. And we have never gone back to office after that. And we've all moved into a work from home model, which was actually forced upon to us. It was not something that we ever wanted to do. But I also realized that some of us have got used to it, saying that this is an industry that I work in, and I don't actually need to go to office because my work will happen. So is it also to do with specific industries or verticals or businesses that you do that office becomes part of your life, and maybe other industries you can probably still not work from office?
He will be back.
Yep. You're right, actually, because if you think about it, even this kind of conversation that we are having right now. 1 second, there's some disturbance, right?
Yeah, somebody needs to mute, please. Sandhya, take care of it.
Yeah. So, okay. So I think, pre-technology like the Zoom and all that, definitely to even have a conversation, you needed to meet, right? Telephone was not enough. I think there is a lot of richness in facial expressions when you communicate and so on. So I think a lot of that is getting bridged by technology, like how we are doing this conference now. I don't think this was possible or even conceivable 3-4 years back. But having said that, I think there are certain tasks or certain teams which need to be in the office, purely because the level of collaboration, level of interaction that they need to do with each other is a lot more intense, right? So maybe you need to kind of work on multiple laptops, okay, or you need to kind of scribble on paper, or you need to do certain things that you just can't do it online, right? So that would be one kind of a task, and it could be across industries. It could be, it might be that somebody is totally new and they don't know anything about the task, so you need to handhold them regularly so that they come up to speed. In which case, you need to be working from the same space. So I think it might be more to do with that. On the other hand, there might be certain other tasks where it's basically you need to do it yourself, and only once in a while you need to update each other. In which case, you might just need to get onto a Zoom call and just update each other. But I think more involved discussion, more hands-on kind of work, that's where possibly you need a physical space. Okay. And there's I think a third type of work which happens, or kind of conversations which happen, which is fairly difficult to do it online. And that would be the type of conversations you'll do in a coffee, say when you're having coffee with each other, or maybe you're just kind of passing each other in the corridor and you bump into each other and you share a few thoughts. Some pending thing that maybe it's not that important for you that you pick up a phone and tell someone, but you would share that when you're conversing with each other. And that kind of conversation is very tough when you say, if you have a team of 6-7 people and you're doing a Zoom call, those kind of one-on-one conversations, which are very, very not agenda driven, but, they're just casual, but it adds value to the relationships and the tasks or the job to be done. Those kind of conversations are very tough to do. I think, but without meeting in person.
Balaji, that was a very interesting point, because when I go back and I look at my corporate life also, those relationships that I had built during those coffee table meetings, or that chai downstairs, or even a washroom break kind of a stuff, when you're actually not thinking about work and you're talking to people, those relationships have been carried forward. It is just like your school alumnus and the groups are formed and all that. Now with the current model, do you think that is going to take a hit, or is it going to affect the productivity maybe? Because when people genuinely needed to have those conversations happening around, a little bit of gossip, a little bit of storytelling, everything used to happen in that. Do you think that is getting affected now with the new model that people are talking about?
I think certainly people are, people will have very divergent views over here. Just the other day, two friends had come to see Golden Square, and there were two entrepreneurs, two different businesses. One was quite adamant that they needed a dedicated space, right, for their team, because they said, unless we have a dedicated space and we come to work every day, I don't think we're going to be productive. He was quite firm on that conviction. The other person was, we are quite happy working from home. Maybe once in a while we'll come to Golden Square for a meeting. And both, I think they have their own, points of view. And I guess they know best what is working for them right now and what. And there were a couple of interesting things. So one said, my product is just getting developed. It's, we are not in a steady state at all. So it makes sense to be, at work together and brainstorming and thinking and all of that. And without coming to the office is going to be tough. And the other person has a more established business. And you're saying, no, everything is working fine. Everybody knows what's to be done. Once in a while, we'll touch base. So, see, that's the kind of intensity of collaboration that's required. I think that might dictate the need for an office. And the other is how much of supervision and control is required. In certain businesses, possibly that is needed, and you need to be there to kind of make sure that the team needs to be there together to make sure that nothing is going wrong. So in which case, possibly remote working and hybrid working may not be as So I think there is no one size fits all kind of an answer over here, but definitely this option of hybrid, people were not even thinking earlier.
Yes. So if I need to look at from a corporate perspective or a company perspective, what do you think are the factors that a company should look at before deciding, hey, I need to work from office? Is there any of those things that you've come across?
Yeah, sure. So I think at one level, there are certain maybe very critical functions, etc., where you need an office with all the facilities, right? Maybe, for example, your server that needs to be located somewhere, and the IT guy needs to be there all the time and make sure that there is proper backup, proper whatever facilities there. And there might be certain such critical functions that you cannot say, okay, guys, you can do it from your home, right? So it could be that. Then the second factor would be how much collaboration you need within the team and how intensely you need to work together. And related to that would be how much supervision and control is required for the team. And then, if then of course it becomes, if these are not required, then work from home. But, for that informal thing happening, the relationships to build, meet once or twice a week in a facility like Golden Square. And I think there's one more dimension. Sometimes home itself may not be conducive to work. You might be working alone, but, disturbance, noise, and maybe once in a while, because there's an important meeting, you need a good internet connection, you need a quiet place to work from. That's when you would come to a place like Golden Square and use the facilities by the hour also, You
use this word control a couple of times, and I could look at that. So, I mean, is it something that the companies are worried about? Like if I don't come to an office, is my commitment under question? So, is it being defined in that way also? That
I think broadly, if you look at it, right, the way productivity is measured is in terms of how much time you're spending at work, right? It's not necessarily what you're doing at work. I think that's a proxy that most people use, because it's very difficult to measure productivity otherwise. And therefore, if you're coming to office and you're leaving office late, means you're you're putting in a lot of work. So that's been a proxy for a long time. So I think as businesses, if we need to really, make accountability something, then I think the quicker we get into more outcome-based measures rather than time-based measures or something like that, I think the more efficient we'll become as entrepreneurs and as businesses.
Okay. The one which was coming up was it when we were talking about productivity, when you're talking about control, when you're talking about commitment to work and all that. So the first thing that comes up into mind is mindset. So there's definitely an employee mindset that I need to be in office for me to be 100%, or there is an employer mindset also that if that person is in office, I'm at least sure that he's coming to office. I mean, I don't know, I don't have to search if he's actually sitting in home and watching Netflix or whatever. So, how important is that mindset factor in this whole game?
Yeah, and I think there's a huge factor, and this I can share from our Liberated Enterprise workshop that I hold. So there's a huge thing. I mean, I have several examples. For example, one person who's into logistics, one entrepreneur who's into logistics, he attended one of our workshops. And then he said, he understood the importance of not monitoring their attendance and time and so on, right? He went back and he removed all the attendance, tracking systems, the RFID readers, attendance kind of thing, and so on. But before that, he just told his team members that, see, I trust you guys to do good work, and I think this is not required. You come and go as you please. And, he just did it. And believe me or not, after a month or so, he was telling us that the productivity actually went up. He saw people were actually not, misusing this kind of freedom. People were showing a lot more responsibility. In fact, he freed up his own time so much that he was able to focus on getting more customers. So ultimately, his profits went up. I mean, this is quite amazing, but I'm saying, so it is a mindset thing. Yeah, it is a mindset thing.
And the second thing, we spoke about industry, we spoke about roles also, but is it also task oriented, Balaji? So there could be one set of HR guys who can afford to be not working from office, and there's another set of guys who probably would want to come to office.
Oh, yes.
So I was speaking to somebody today, Balaji, and very interestingly, we were discussing about employee engagement as an activity, and she was asking, how do you think we can actually do employee engagement without even seeing anybody? And I don't even know where these people are or what is their background. I've never met them in their life.
Yeah.
How do you think we can do that? So is it also task oriented in terms of?
Yeah, it is. Certainly is. And I think if most of the people are working from home, we need to focus on certain activities which will get that engagement happening, or what shall we say, team bonding happening, and interactions happening between. So that needs to be possibly built into some kind of a routine or a habit or something like that. Otherwise, that element totally might get lost. Yes, certainly required.
We were talking about that, Balaji, when we were speaking about this also. So if the office completely doesn't exist anymore, and I'm not foreseeing that as a future, but in case there are organizations who are saying that, okay, we are perfectly fine with you guys working from wherever you are, and as long as it is getting done. Isn't there a threat of, say, for example, some of these positions or some of these roles actually getting redundant because...
Oh, yes, certainly.
Why do you need an office manager if you don't have an office, for example? Or why do you need an administration person if you don't have an office? So
exactly.
In that perspective?
I'm certain that for a lot of people, a lot of businesses, that will happen. In fact, there are some lovely examples around the world of companies, even so-called, you can't imagine them. For example, a chartered accountant or an accountancy firm, you'd kind of, when I talk to various chartered accountants, they say, no, we need to be in the office because there's so much of paper that we need to share with each other and so on. So there's a lovely case study. I was going through a talk of a Canadian accounting company who does accounting only for Fortune 500 companies. And they call themselves virtual accountants. Their whole team works from different locations. They don't have an office. And this was much before, COVID and all that. So it is possible. But like you said, it might be much easier to just come to office for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the things that you interestingly spoke about was a technology intervention, because today we are in a situation wherein you are somewhere, I'm sitting somewhere, the people are watching it from somewhere. So that is definitely kind of helping us. I believe that's the way when we're talking about hybrid also, that's the way it is going. BNI is a classic example of a organization which met every week overnight, transforming into a completely virtual platform. And it has not affected us because it has not affected our business. It has not affected the relationships. We've only grown from that perspective. So do you think technology is going to play a big part in the way offices work? I'm saying,
I'm 100%.
Virtual office, whichever it is. Is it going to play a major role?
I'm 100% certain about it. Because I mean, just like how we are doing this on Zoom, which is unthinkable a couple of years back, I think, soon the technology will happen 5, 10 years, 15 years, I don't know when, where, you'll have, I think Microsoft was doing a demo or something. I heard a product development where it'll be as if the person is sitting next to you when you're doing a meeting. And that kind of an experience, an immersive experience, and without goggles and so on. So, I mean, it's going to happen sometime or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
We spoke about the office part. Now let's come to the home part, which is the second part of it. And you also yourself have been working from home for whatever reason it is. We all had to do that. What are the pluses and minuses in this whole thing that you see?
Obviously, I think the first is, especially in a city like Bangalore, traffic itself, right? So just going to office, I hear so many horror stories of people spending 1 hour one way, 1.5 hours one way to go to office, and the traffic jams and so on. So just saving on time, that's huge amount of time saved, right? That itself. The second is in terms of, you're pacing your work in terms of your own biorhythm, right? So, sometimes I know, for example, some of my most creative and most productive work happens early in the morning, just, when I just got up, and that's when my mind is really fresh for some of that work. So figuring out when you're productive and doing that kind of work, and then of course, meet people for that catch-up thing and for those connections and so on and so forth. So I think that, makes sense to me. So I think the mix of both environments is what possibly might be the best way forward. And having that flexibility, giving that flexibility to your team members. Hey, you feel most productive at office, go to office. You feel most productive at home, work from home. Okay. But let's catch up once in a while, or maybe once a week, twice a week, so that we are all on the same page. And let's do it in a in-person place, so that, that bonding, we can have coffee together, we can have lunch together, all of that.
Absolutely. So and when you said about the horror part of it, the driving part, I've been a victim for it for almost 14 years of my life. I drove 1.5 hours every day one way just to reach to office. And today I'm relieved that, okay, I'm saving that 3 hours and I'm able to put it into some good use. But that's probably because, Balaji, most of us worked in a scenario wherein you are somewhere, your office is somewhere else. And I think that is something that Golden Square is trying to change. And you've been a visionary in that. You've been one of the pioneers in this whole industry. When people did not know about serviced offices, or people did not know about shared offices, you decided to start it, 26 years back?
26 years back. And I can tell you...
I mean, how did you even think that something like that will work?
So when I became an entrepreneur, I was just looking for a pain point. India was just opening up. And a lot of MNCs were coming into Bangalore. And to get a telephone line used to take 6 months, right? I mean, you remember those days, 94, 95. 95 is when we started this. 6 months to get a telephone line. So I said, hey, this is a problem, and let's make life simpler for smaller teams. And that's always been our focus. Joy at work is our philosophy, right, in Golden Square. And we had things like a stenographer and a typist those days, So because laptops and computers weren't that prevalent. So people used to actually manually type letters and so on. And that was the service people wanted that time. Okay. Today, the world has changed. You don't need a telephone line. In fact, but you need something else. So you need office on demand, right? And that's what Golden Square is providing now. You can use any of our 6 locations for an hour also. 1 hour also you can use, right? So work from home, you need a team meeting, come to Golden Square with a projector, with internet, all of that, use a conference room. You need a place where you can do a productive meeting with a few, 3-4, team members, do that. You feel that, you need a place dedicated and with your own branding and so on and so forth. Take a space in Golden Square on a dedicated basis, brand it the way you want, and have that element happening. So we kind of modularize the whole thing, right, in Golden Square.
So it's very customized, Balaji, in terms of the look and feel of it. So for me, office was a place where the company owned or company rented out the entire space, and the entire office used to be only our people, nobody else. Now you're talking about a model wherein I can work from home. I don't need an office, but for an hour to just run a meeting, I can probably come there. I mean, how is it going to help? I mean, I can do probably that at home. I mean, how is Golden Square going to add value to that 1 hour or 2 hours that I'm going to spend there?
Okay, so if you're working alone, in a sense, you're not using Golden Square to meet people, right? You're working alone. One is purely that, okay, I don't have to worry about things like the internet is poor quality or noise distraction is there or visual distraction is there. There's a quiet place I can work from. In fact, interestingly, there was a person, preparing for her exams. Okay. Very interesting, because you won't expect that, such a person to come and use Golden Square for. So she said, I'm not able to study for my exams at home. So she used Golden Square to prepare for her exams. Okay, so it can be that distraction free, right, for people. On the other hand, you want to, so the other aspect which I think we provide and possibly nobody else in the market provides is a lot of support. Because as a small team, there are so many things that you need to do, right? Simple things, maybe I need to just call up. I'm trying to recruit someone, we need to do some follow-up calls with these 10 candidates and tell them the directions, to the office and things like that. So our team will do that for you, right? Or things like, just manage a particular process, just track the payments we are receiving, put it in a spreadsheet, give me a report, kind of a thing. Simple things like that. So we are able to automate certain processes. We're able to do certain of these tasks, which typically, if you're a small team of 1 to 20 people, you may not have the talent or the bandwidth to be able to do some of these, tasks, which might be this thing. And of course, with BNI, we again, whatever requirement we are able to pass, connect them to very good people who would be good at those kind of tasks and so on. So this is how we make, those connect. Yeah.
Quite a lot of value addition you're talking about. So you're essentially saying that, okay, I as an employee can come there and expect my entire admin tasks and my other chores to be run by the Golden Square team. Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh, yes, certainly it can be done. And it's optional. I mean, depending on what is it that you're choosing, or what is it that you would like our help in, right? So that's all.
So interestingly, when you said this, and I was trying to relate to the kind of work that people generally do and why people travel so much. So one of the things that I've seen is people try to identify a house near a school, because that becomes priority.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter, the dad and mom can travel, the child doesn't have to travel. That's one context I've seen, because I work with quite a lot of schools myself. But then after a point of time, maybe a year or something, they start looking for a job because they say, this journey is too tedious for me, I can't take it. But from the model that you're talking about, 6 different locations, places where people can do, are we actually talking about a concept wherein the office is coming near your house and you don't have to look at a house near the office? Is that the model that Golden Square is approaching with?
Yes, that's what, in fact, that's the flexible model we have come up with. We're calling it hybrid office, right? So as a company, you can tell your team members that, choose how you'd like to work. You can, so as a manager, you decide whether you need an office or you need to work from home. Your team members can work from the location which is closest to them. So 6 different locations. So across. So go to the Golden Square branch, which is closest to you, if you need an office to work alone. Choose a Golden Square location which is convenient for all of you to meet if you want to meet together, right? So this is the hybrid office option. Plus, we are also, the way it is priced is that as simple as, for a 3-person meeting room, it's 250 rupees an hour, right? It's as low as that. For a conference room, it is 100 rupees per hour per person, minimum of 4 people. So it's kind of made so simple. And then the rates also keep coming down as the usage increases. So the idea behind this type of pricing is, if a team member decides to use Golden Square all the time also, the company need not worry that, the budget will be too high, because the rates are coming down. And even if the space was taken on a dedicated basis, our hybrid rates won't be more than 20-25% more than the dedicated rate. Okay. So that is how we have made the model in tune with what's happening around us, right? So to suit this, of course, our traditional offerings are there, dedicated spaces, dedicated cabins, all of that is there on a monthly basis.
But this model that you're talking about is the hybrid model, wherein yes, I don't have to actually come and commit you for a lock-in period or a year or whatever it is, and I'm worried about that.
Yes, in fact, as a rule, for 26 years, we always have believed that we don't lock in our clients, right? And by the way, our oldest client is with us for 26 years.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So she's into recruitment, by the way, in the same industry as yours, recruitment. And she's been with us for last 26 years. And our team knows her tastes, the kind of tea she likes, the kind of everything. They know it so well that I don't think she feels like going anywhere else, right? So that's the kind of relationship. So even then, we never lock in our clients. We say, because small teams, they're not quite certain, how fast the team will grow or how much their space requirement will be. So that's the reason from the beginning we have not done that, unless we need to invest something or customize something in the interiors or something like that, in which case we get into a long-term contract.
And one more interesting thing, because I've come to Golden Square so many times and we kind of had this interaction with people around also. There seems to be a community that is being built around that. I mean,
yeah,
there's a chartered accountant, there is a lawyer, there is a recruiter, and they all need each other. So that ecosystem, is it something that becomes a big part of this hybrid model that you're talking about?
Yeah, it does. In fact, that's one of the reasons you want to come to in-person kind of a thing, because then those things happen. But we have another take to it. So one is in terms of connections happening due to serendipity, right? You just so happens that you're sitting in a cafeteria area and you bump into each other, you start conversation. So that's one way of connections to happen. But I believe there is an even more efficient way of connections happening. And that is because of our BNI, network. So for example, if somebody says, hey, somebody tells our team member that I'm looking for a chartered accountant, right? Now my team member will tap into the BNI network and figure out which chartered accountant is best suited for this person. For example, you will have chartered accountants who work exclusively or prefer to work with startups. There'll be other chartered accountants who are very good at tax matters. Okay, another person who might be good at managing accounts in terms of on an ongoing basis. So different people have different skills, and that can only happen through connecting people using this kind of intelligence, right? In terms of knowing what exactly people are good at.
So these are the guys that you said you call them as rainmakers.
So in our team, in Golden Square we have people called rainmakers. So they are the connectors. They connect people within Golden Square, outside Golden Square, through BNI and so on.
The other thing that you spoke about last time when I spoke to you, Balaji, was about the acceleration desk as a model that is going to come up big time.
Yeah.
So anything on that particular thing quickly, Balaji? Acceleration desk is a word useful.
Yes. So like I was saying, we provide a lot of support, like errand services. Like for example, I need a document to be notarized. Okay, now that for an entrepreneur is a 3-4 hours work or more, right? But our team members will do it for them. Okay. Wow. So things like that's at one level, errand, these kind of tasks and so on. Then the other thing is in terms of automating a process and handling a particular process, like a payment process or something like that. And our team is good at automating things using Google Scripts and Google Spreadsheets and so on. Some of our team members are good at even project management. We can set up offices for others, and we have done it also. So different. So we have got these different, capabilities which under the umbrella of acceleration desk, right? And I have a feeling, once virtual reality and all of these things take over, acceleration desk might be what is remaining out of Golden Square. Maybe in 15, 20 years, let's see, that's not what happened.
I mean, I call you a visionary because of that, because 26 years back, nobody thought about service offices and you started it and you've been a pioneer there. And I've heard some of these names of those companies that started, and you've seen all those industries, Balaji. You're speaking about companies like Dell, which was one of your first when they started here, or when insurance industry started, HDFC was using Golden Square. You've been part of the ITES and outsourcing revolution company starting there, .com revolution, or I think even Uber had one of their first offices in Golden Square.
Oh, yes. Whichever industry opened up, including airlines, Kingfisher had their marketing office in Golden Square. So, so we have each industry is represented in Golden Square.
Are you a lucky charm to quite a lot of industries, Balaji?
Oh, yeah. In fact, a lot of people say that, Golden Square has been their launch pad, right? Because of Golden Square, they became lucky. And one of the things which happens when you have all of these things taken care of is that you can focus on your key activities, right? Your attention doesn't get diverted with all these, facilities or errand related type of activities.
Okay.
I'm going to come in here now. Sorry.
Sure, Sandhya.
Yeah, it's probably nice to leave the conversation on this lucky charm note.
Sure.
If I had known that, Balaji, I would have come and started my office at your Golden Square offices.
Thank you.
It was very interesting to listen to the multiple use cases, in a sense, to use the term. Especially the one about the student wanting to come and study here.
Yeah.
That was something I'd never heard of or thought of. You think of them going to Coffee Day or Starbucks now. But yes, this is really interesting. And thank you so much for that very engaging conversation, very educative and informative conversation. It is my privilege to announce the award that the Women Economic Forum would like to confer on Mr. Balaji Pasumarthy, the award being the Exceptional Leader of Excellence. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandhya.
Also, we would like to confer the prestigious Women Economic Forum of the Exceptional Leader of Excellence on Mr. Manoj Talakat as well. Thank you once again for being here, being a part of the Women Economic Forum, and especially the Golden Square being a larger part of the Women Economic Forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Sandhya. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, and I think we're just looking for a day when coffee meetings are going to be moved into service offices like Golden Square. And thank you so much for that opportunity, Balaji, being here. I enjoyed this discussion and I hope we added some value to the people who are listening also. Thank you so much, Sandhya.
Thank you. Thank you. It was very nice discussion. Yeah.
See you. Bye.
See you. Bye.